Mike Pendleton here with MMAsucker.com and super excited to talk to my guest today. She will be making her Bellator debut over in Dublin, Ireland. I've always said it, one of my favorite places and events for all of the MMA world. Whenever Dublin is putting on a show, it is must-see TV, and she is must-see TV, the wild one, Michelle Montague. Michelle, how are you?
Good, mate. What an intro. Yeah, I am so keen to fight over in Ireland, man. I feel like those are my people, So very pumped for that.
I feel like obviously you being from New Zealand, Australian fighters just down to fight. They don't care, right?
Correct.
Mostly can be said about Irish because they're just drunk all the time and they'll fight anyone. But I
This is
think
why
like
I'm
New
part Irish.
Zealand,
Like you literally, I know. I just got the
literally.
clover done on my arm too. No, my granddad who passed away actually got the news when I was in Ireland a couple of years ago. He's his side of the family is Irish, so to be going there and fighting there and background that people have trained with, and I just get on so well with them. Like you said, drunk fighting Irish and like my kind of people.
Mine too. Mine too. It's like the Australian, New Zealand fighters, they're just down to fight, and it's like the Irish
Yeah.
crowd makes it a fight. It's
Oh,
just
100%. Like it's what's going to get me going too. You know what I mean? So.
you've started your career off undefeated. You have some great success early on. You've been part of the PFL Challenger Series multiple times. Getting that call over to make your Bellator debut, what was that like?
It was good because I'd waited, I've been patiently waiting, 10 months, the gap will be in the end. So to get the call up to go over and fight over there on it again, like same, but different, PFL Bellator, but to go and do it in a new environment, especially in Ireland, like, like of all the places and chances, like pretty freaking stoked.
Yeah, and what does that kind of do for you knowing they're giving you this opportunity? It's the same company, but in a way, you've already been exposed to the PFL crowd. Now you're getting exposed to the Bellator crowd because
Yeah,
still haven't come together yet. They need to, but they still haven't come together. So what is that
I
like
know.
getting to fight on Bellator?
I'm pretty sure Bellator crowd is like they're rambunctious. They're a rowdy bunch. Like they're just like Bellator. So I feel like oh true. Also their cage is a circle. I just clicked now. The circle cage. So and it's big. So yeah, no, I'm excited to be around those people, especially the Irish side, and Ireland's like, smaller than New Zealand. And if there's a big fight event, every man and their dog is gonna be there. So it's gonna be a full crowd, full of energy. You're gonna be there, smell, taste, and hear it as well. So, it's pretty stoked for that.
With that being said, what does it do for you as a fighter yourself who pays attention to those kind of things, right? The environment in which you're fighting in. What
Yeah.
does that do for you? How amped up will that make you come fight night, knowing the crowd's going to be drunk already, they're going to be going crazy, and they're going to be going wild for you the entire fight?
Yeah, I already know it's gonna be like I'm already ripping for it. I actually watched was it must have been, I don't know, I'm getting my brain mixed up between watching the some of the show they just had over there with the PFL. It was over in the UK there somewhere. Between that and then some of the fans at the other events they've had over those ways, like anything, they pick a favorite either way, like whichever, however they chose it. But just their reactions to everything that happens in the fight, like, and actually can hear like sweet fuck all when you're fighting. To be honest, you can barely hear your own corner, but you can feel it when the crowd erupts or something. I remember that when I fought in New York, and when I had that choke on and I finished it, and then hearing the crowd, I was like, that was all I heard the whole time was that last bit at the end, everyone just like roaring up, and I'm like, and Ireland's going to be like that, but full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah, absolutely. You're part of American Top Team, which is one of the most renowned gyms in the world. Obviously, the likes of Kayla Harrison have come through those doors.
Mm.
Obviously, she's in another promotion. But when you're sharing the mat, sharing the training room and the gym with someone like that, who's kind of paved the way for not only just women in general, but women in the PFL, women in
Yeah.
Bellator, what does that do for you knowing like you're just getting started? You have your own path to blaze and trail on, but someone like Kayla kind of set it out.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Like what Ronda did in UFC, Kayla did in these other organizations, right? Like, and was so dominant in doing so, and super well rounded, and now doing the same thing over in the UFC. So to have the influence around you, and especially she's my best friend here as well, So what we do outside the gym and inside it, like it just goes hand in hand, and it it's just, I think, just makes us stronger as people and better women for it as well, because you keep each other accountable, and you have your training partner's best interests at heart there as well. So I think all in all, just it brings up your mind and physical strength like tenfold, being around and training with someone like that all the time.
What has American Top Team meant to you so far? Obviously, like I said, world renowned gym, so many world champions, so many historical coaches. I mean, the legacy is cemented underneath the gym from all that they've built it up from. What does American Top Team mean to you?
Well, they took me in when I was come over here, as a still finishing up my amateur career, and I got in there to train when I was stuck out of New Zealand during COVID. So they welcomed me in with open arms, and I got in their training with Kayla in like the first week. So I was just another big blonde bitch, so it worked out well. And to the coaches there, there's great coaches all over the world, but you can only really talk about where you are at the time. So yes, I like the family style back home in New Zealand, like that kind of gym where everybody knows everyone, and you're all buddy buddy. It's a very contrasting but because it is such a world gym in that regard, like people from all over the world come over there for the camps. The good thing is that with the females, everyone's pretty much always there. They don't come and go really, bar like a couple of the girls. So you've constantly got the same group of girls, and it's not a big sport for females in general, let alone in New Zealand and Australia. So to have that consistency of female training partners, and ones that are better than you at what you think you'll be at in your fight. There's girls that are, years ahead of you in that same area. So to be able to pick their brain and get rounds with them and test yourself is quite a treat, right? Pretty spoiled.
Absolutely. Well, you've obviously just got started in your career, and you just mentioned, the kind of lack thereof in Australia and New Zealand, especially on the female side. Do you kind of take any, I would say, responsibility to say, listen, I'm going to put on for the women of New Zealand, and who's ever wants to follow, like, let's go. Like, you'll pave the way for the next generation?
Well, I'd like to consider myself as one of the females doing that, but we've got the likes of Nyrin Crowley, Jenna Fabian, Gace Sanita, Janae Harding, just to name a few of the girls I've worked with anyway, that have fought in these big organizations with Team One and Bellator and PFL, and those girls are pro before I was, and so to be able to have watched them and trained with them when I was still amateur, and like see how they held themselves and how they held themselves in the cage as well. What they did for me as I was already coming up, I can only hope to do for girls that have considered fighting or started fighting, or want to go overseas and train as well, because it can be pretty daunting when you're from little old New Zealand and you're used to a certain way of life outside the gym and in the gym. It definitely makes you more like, you go into these places like you bite your tongue, because like this isn't that kind of gym where you can just say anything to anyone. You really need to watch, observe, and learn, and see how things are done here, and find out where you fit in. So I know that process is like a slow learning curve, but I definitely I know I've had some pretty cool conversations with girls back home that either just strike, or they just do jiu-jitsu, or they are thinking of MMA, or even the girls that already have transitioned across MMA that ask about what it's like training over here, or what should I do for my amateur career? Where should I fight? Should I turn pro now? Like all those sorts of things. Like I've done that, like these other girls. So you have a good leg to stand on when you're giving them advice, and you trust what you're saying is the truth as well.
You're taking on Karolina Sobek in Dublin, Ireland. What do you make of her as an opponent?
She's a big, strong Polish girl, Polish and known for being tough and aggressive. I mean, like, what fighter isn't? But that's like something they're pretty notorious for. Kiwis just love to fight, and will get will take it to grimy places like when it comes as well. So I know she likes to grapple. I know she has wins and losses in the grappling side of it, and she's super durable and has a decent little throw on her. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun like classic mixed martial arts fight, as you will. So pretty looking forward to putting ourselves to the test against one another. You know.
I can't wait for it. I'm super excited for this fight. Michelle, I'm going to ask you, I don't know how many times you've been asked this, so I hope I'm not repeating people's questions, but listen, there's a few fights at 145 on this card, especially, Sinead Kavanaugh on the card, Arlene
Mm.
Blanco. You're making your Bellator debut, but like business is kind of open season in Bellator. Do you think
Yeah.
you can send a message in this fight?
Oh yeah, dude. Like it's funny. Both those girls. I've trained with Sinead over at SPG, and Arlene's an Aussie girl. So like we chit chat here and there as well. So it's weird too because you end up as females in the sport, in these smaller organizations, you end up buddies with a bunch, and then you're like, fuck, well, I guess we can end up fighting, and you just is what it is. You know what I mean? As long as you're not at their gym, like you can still carry on. And that's the thing too. You mean it's not like people are gonna be like, oh shit, Michelle did something like wicked surprising, like take the good down, suplex you, double leg her into the sky, like do something exciting like that. Like that's just what I like to do, and it's where my body ends up going, and my head just wants to go into the fire. And I'm pretty sure like me and the crowd will have a bit of fun like beforehand and afterwards, and it just at this stage it's pretty up in the air about what's going to happen with the matching up of these fights and everything, because it took 10 months to get this one wrapped up. So we'll just take it as it comes and put on the biggest statement as we can in Bellator, and hopefully get another couple in by the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like be that kind of fighter where they're like, fuck, we really got to put it on this card because we want to, and everyone wants to see you.
I think people who haven't been watching you are missing out. So let's definitely get you on. That's my public message to the decision makers. Let's get Michelle on as many cards as
I'm
we
like louder
can.
for the people in the back.
Exactly, exactly. But I think there is plenty of opportunity, and you're someone who came up, like I said, with 2 fights at the PFL Challenger Series, and now
Mm.
this big opportunity. I know it must have been a little frustrating, with the Bellator PFL merger and then waiting to see what was happening. But overall, when you have a promotion, some would say smaller, I would disagree. But like Bellator, like PFL, who invest in you so early on in your career, what does that mean to you?
You can look at it in good and bad points. Like obviously on the bad side, you're like some people, they get like stuck or locked in. You've seen that happen publicly with a couple of fighters, where they really have to fight to get out or whatever. I on the good side, like I was very grateful to at the start of the merge. Obviously, no news was actually good news, because there was a few of the girls that actually got cut, and they're pretty sound fighters in their own right. So to be one of the ones that they were like, nah, we'll keep that scrappy little Kiwi on the cards, So that was cool. And then so hence why I didn't mind being patient to get the fight matched up. Yeah, that's it though.
Well, I am super excited for this fight. You go by the wild one. What should fans expect from you in Dublin, Ireland?
Probably a cheeky old suplex if I can get the old grip on there. Takedown in the sky, finish, like submission, me being me and being in Ireland amongst all these folks. If it starts getting a little bit scrappy on the feet, then that's where we're going to go anyway, because, we're not all smart and as calm in the cage as we are in the gym. And like the adrenaline gets to you, plus you're like, oh no, fuck, I'm good, I got this. And like, you like take that, like, I'm just, honestly, it just goes where it goes, and I'm happy to go anywhere where it goes. At this stage, it's gone where I've dictated it to, like, at least by the end of the fight kind of thing. But like you saw in the Abbott fight, like where it goes, and I'm happy to be there. You know what I mean? Like, so we're just gonna have fun with it.
It's the famous Mike Tyson quote, right? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the
Get
face,
punched in
right?
the face. That's it. And
I
even
like
then,
that.
you like, I mean, there's guidance of what I want to do, obviously, and there's plans of things to do or avoid or whatever. But for me, I only ever picture up to being in the cage, looking at the person and being like, yo, you want to touch gloves and we walk out to the middle or not? And you get that nod or you don't get that nod. And that's the only thing I plan towards. Everything else is muscle memory by then, or if it ain't, then forget about it. But like, you know, just for me, it's just that's the one part that I can control is last neck question. And then from there on, it goes where it goes. And you just keep trying to do what you know you're good at. And if it keeps going that way and you get what you want done, cool. And if, oh, fuck, well, that's not working out, I thought, okay, other step, other plan, whatever. You switch it up as you go, you know what I mean? Depending on what they bring, because it's not someone that I've trained with or worked with before. So you just got to kind of take it as it comes. And pretty pumped for that. I love that feeling. I love that. That's like, it's like what you imagine when you're, it's like those intrusive thoughts. You're like walking somewhere in the street, like in Vegas, and you're like, if that person comes up to me and just starts like grabbing my shirt, what am I going to do? And you like imagine fighting them in your head and you're like, am I normal? It's like, it's just like, it's like that. Cause it's going to be in the cage. You're like, what's going to happen if she does this? I'm like, oh, fuck, we're going to find out.
That's the difference between a fighter and a podcast interview, right? Because I'm like, I've got 911 on speed dial. If I see anyone, I'm like, what do they do if they grab my shirt? I'm not doing it. Now, I've had an opportunity to train every once in a while, but I just get injured too easily. Like
Yeah.
I hurt my back doing cannonballs in the pool. So I'm like,
You hurt your back carrying the whole podcast. You're like,
yeah,
fuck.
exactly. Exactly. This microphone weighs a lot.
You like put your back out, putting your head on.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Literally. Yeah, I hurt my hand. What'd you do? I was typing on the keyboard. My bad.
Yeah, I was typing way too quick, man.
Yeah,
Gotta know my limit.
I'm out for 6 weeks, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But we talked about it to start the show. We kind of talked about it throughout the interview, being in Ireland and all that. So I've got to ask, because you have an amazing personality. It matches who you are as a fighter. What is the after party celebration like when you're in Ireland?
Oh, you just gave me goosebumps now. I don't know. I'm imagining the Irish fans that probably will start on the back out after the fight. I've got some good buddies over there that either just fought or, you know, I know them through when I stayed over there last time. So, and obviously some of them are fighting on that night. So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure every corner of everyone is just going to go to the same fucking place and just like crack on. And, you know, dedicate a week, stout to my granddad while I'm over there, you know, pour a bit out, pour a bit down, and you know, just take in where I am. And also I would love to get a quick road trip in before I fly out too. So who knows what we'll end up doing. I want to go see the I think it's called the Cliffs of Moher. They were closed last time because there was a storm. So man, I'm dying to get over there and stand on the edge of those things.
Well, it's no secret as someone who has talked to Bellator fighters for years and PFL fighters now more recently that I've made it known, like, if I could get to a Bellator Dublin event or a PFL Ireland event, like, please, I'll do whatever it takes to get out there, because I share those same sentiments. I need stouts. I need to get drunk. I need to see the beautiful sights. Like, I need all of that. Everyone in the world needs to tune in. I am hoping, because I'll be flying back from Utah and PFL the day of your fight. I am hoping
Yeah.
be on the ground watching. The world will be watching. Here in the States, they can watch on Max, formerly HBO Max streaming service. Michelle,
Yeah.
it was so good to talk to you for the first time. Thank you so much. Saturday, June 22nd. I hope this won't be the first and last interview we do. I've had a really
Oh shit, no, man. I'll see you around the bend. That's for sure, Mikey boy.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. June 22nd, you're taking on Karolina Sobek. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. See you later, boy.